Shrek Forever After. This is a 2010 animated film from DreamWorks, and this is the fourth and final Shrek film in this franchise, which I believe is the final one, but at least they're going to make Shrek 5, which let's hit up another time. Shrek Forever After tells the story of how Shrek is now a family man. He's a father, he has a wife named Fiona, and they have 3 kids, and everything is going fine as everything going he's expected to be. But as the days goes on, his life has not been the same. He's going through an emotional crisis that he's not the actual real ogre that he was, like in the past before he rescued Fiona. So after a burst out at his kid's first birthday party, he decided to go and meet Rumpelstiltskin. And of course, Rumpelstiltskin gives him a deal of a lifetime of 1 day, 24 hours of being a real ogre again, like he was in the past. But what Shrek doesn't know, that Rumpelstiltskin put him as a trap. They're using him to wipe him out of existence. And of course, Shrek must reunite with his friends Puss in Boots, Donkey, and trying to get back to Fiona. But the thing is, they don't remember him because he wasn't born. So this is an alternate universe where Shrek was never born. So Shrek has 24 hours to get back to his life that he's now accepting that he didn't appreciate as much. So what do I think of Shrek Forever After is, I actually didn't think this movie's that bad. I actually quite liked it. I think it's great as the first two. Not exactly, but I will say as on a positive note, it is much, much better than Shrek the Third. Let's just say that away. Even though I don't hate Shrek the Third, but I do think it's a big step down from the first two. But Shrek Forever After is decent. I'll say it's a decent, good time. It's definitely not perfect. It's not a flawless masterpiece, but I do think it's a good time. It has some good moments. The animation this time around is a lot better. It has some good animation going on. I think the animation does get better each installment. It does feel a bit more fluid and it felt organic as much as this film as it was. And the rest of the voice cast, well, what can you say about the voice cast? They're all great. They all give their good performances by voicing these characters like Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, and Antonio Banderas. Like I said, this film has a lot. Definitely feels like a simple story. While yes, it is generic, it is pretty simple. It's just very basic. It's basically changing a lifetime, wish you were never born, or all this jazz. But this is how it's very well done. It's a wee bit handled here. I'm not saying this film is perfect by all means, but this one does. It settles it really good. And let's just say, for the most part, the story arcs for these characters are really good. Shrek, like I said, he's going through the moments that he's just missing being an actual ogre. He's just not enjoying as much as he thought he would. He's just missing the life where he's on the swamp. He doesn't have Fiona or the babies. But when deep down he does sign a deal with Rumpelstiltskin to go 24 hours of being a real ogre again for 1 day. But what Shrek doesn't know, he just made his biggest statement of his life where he accidentally signs it, and then of course Rumpelstiltskin took the day of he was born. He's just a mindless, harmless little baby, so he doesn't remember anything. So basically everyone he knows doesn't know who he is, doesn't know him. Even Donkey doesn't know him. He's his best friend. And Princess Fiona became a warrior, which is something I don't see from her, because now she's saved her own self from the tower, not by true love. And of course Shrek does try to manage to say, no, true love does exist. And then of course Fiona says, where were you when I needed you? Which, ouch. Go through the motions there. And of course Donkey's now a work of basically he's just a singing karaoke person, but he does have his moments. Especially he accidentally lit a waffle in the woods and get tracked by these other ogres, which that brings me to my next point. When you see the resistance, all these ogres, and of course Fiona is now like I said, she's a warrior and she's the leader of the group. And I can tell you, if this film came out today, internet blockers will go off their nut and saying this is woke propaganda. Or heck, let's just say this now. I've got to mention the first Shrek movie where she beats up these Robin Hood and these merry men. People will flip. Did they flip out when they say that when they first came out? No, I don't think so. But if this film, like I said, if these movies came out today, internet blockers will lose their freaking minds. They'll start saying this is woke propaganda because Princess Fiona is a badass and doesn't need a Prince Charming to protect her. Anyway, that's another video I'll talk about another time. But that's just a whole other thing I just said. Has some great moments, especially where Shrek, where he's just walking about scaring people like he used to. And of course, Top of the World song coming on, which every time I think of that song, I just think of Shrek. Every time. Soundtrack's always the best thing about it. But I will say the most funny iconic moment is now Puss in Boots got fatter in this movie. He just got fat. He's just not the hero that he was. And of course he says, feed me if you dare instead of fear me if you dare. But oh my god, it's just amazing. Of course, Donkey has his moments. Princess Fiona has her moments because now she's a rebel warrior and she's not much to do. And Shrek is trying to connect with her, try to fall in love with her again, try to make her do the way that it does. And of course, there were moments basically when they're fighting, training, and of course, you do see they're start to feel the connection again. And of course, Fiona said, no, okay, you need to go get Rumpelstiltskin. Of course, there's a moment where Shrek realized that he does miss his old life. He does want his life back. He wants to go back to things that he really had before, like before he lost it, because he just didn't appreciate his life he had. And of course, we do see other characters like Gingy's now some kind of gladiator, cutting all these animal crackers and all that jazz. And Pinocchio is just still wants to be a real boy. And the Big Bad Wolf is working with Rumpelstiltskin, his servant. Of course, the few little pigs as well. And of course, speaking of Rumpelstiltskin is voiced by Walt Donehan. I think I pronounced his name there correctly. Rumpelstiltskin, I would say for the most part, is the better villain than Charming that he was. Because even though I don't think he's good as the first two villains from the first two Shrek movies, but that I would say this. Rumpelstiltskin is actually a pretty decent villain. He's just very sarcastic, sarcastic, but yet he's very scary at times, where he just gets angry. And of course, when Shrek signs the deal on the contract, you see his little shoes go, sign it. Anywho, there's so many things about this film I liked. And when it comes to the ending is very touching, it's very emotional, especially where Shrek was disappearing. And of course, Fiona has to say, well, there's something they can do, help him out. Because Shrek now says, you got me, you've done everything for me, Fiona. You gave me a home, a family. And of course, the last bit before he disappears is, you know what the best day of my life was? I've got the chance to fall in love with you all over again, which, oh God, talk about pulling the heartstrings. And of course, the ending was mostly satisfying. It's pretty satisfying, pretty, a nice, solid conclusion to the Shrek franchise and the perfect ending to the movie, unless Shrek 5 happens. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't, DreamWorks, just don't. Overall, I do think Shrek Forever is nowhere perfect. That yes, some of the jokes doesn't land, some of the humor didn't work. The story is pretty straightforward, it's pretty generic, it's pretty basic, but it does have some good moments. There are some good things going for. But other than that, I do think it's enjoyable. It's entertaining. You will have fun with this movie. And if you think Shrek Forever was a big disappointment, check this film out. I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll have fun with it. And you'll get some good out of it. My rating for Shrek Forever After, the final chapter, I'm going to say it's a good time. I'm going to say it there. It's a good time at the movies or at home. Just enjoy it, have fun, better than Shrek the Third, but not as good as the first two. So guys, That's my review on Shrek Forever After. And of course, coming up next, I will be reviewing Puss in Boots, which is coming very soon. Thanks for watching. Of course, like, comment, subscribe, and tell me your thoughts on Shrek Forever After. See ya!